Hello again, collectors. So today we're going to take a look at this model here, but I just want to give a shout out to the YouTube channel diecast. Where it's all by like one of a casting usually, or not even every casting out there. He tends to buy entire cases of everything. He buys everything that's coming out. So he has a great channel if you want to see what's coming out and what is out. So I got this here at a local shop, and I did pick up another one from this series. I picked up the 95 Ford Bronco, which is in an orange color, so that'll come in a different video. But let's take a look here. So the history of this vehicle, I guess, starts way back in World War II. The Willys Overland Corporation was making the World War II Jeeps, and then Willys Willys Overland merged with Kaiser in 1953. I've never heard of that car brand either. Or maybe I have. It's just not readily off to my recollection. And then they came out with this thing, the Kaiser Jeepster Commando, and they had two different versions of the Commando. The earlier one was called the C101, which is the 101-inch wheelbase, and that was available between 1966 and 1973. And it was available between 1966 and 1971. Later on, they moved to a larger wheelbase, and that was available until 73. So I apologize there. So I pulled up this image because I know that Greenlight does like a version of this. And it has surfboards too. I actually saw it at the shop, but I passed on it because there was like a paint blemish on it. But maybe I'll go back on a different time or a different store and try to find one that's in better shape. But these Jeepster Commandos came in various body variations. There was a station wagon, which meant it had a full hardtop, and then there was a convertible, a pickup, and then a roadster. I have a suspicion this might be the full-length roadster, but I could be mistaken. Okay, all of them had four-wheel drive though. Okay, so let's see here. Also, the 101-inch wheelbase was shared with the Jeep CJ6, so it gets its whatever its mechanicals and the platform from that. It seems like Greenlight took some liberties here with this crazy off-road lifted kit, because I know in the other version with the surfboard, it's actually a normal ride height, like more like this. But unfortunately, I can't really see much of the tail because they added this extra stuff here as well. But I kind of pulled this up because it's got the, this convertible. And I'm trying to see if the bars are there. They're not. So, okay, well, sorry if they're not the greatest photos to compare it to, but I kind of feel like this might be almost a fantasy car, at least the lower half of it. Alright. So the Jeepster remained in production after American Motor Corp even bought the Jeep line from Kaiser in 1970, and then later on it was replaced by the Cherokee. Okay, so let's take a look here. There's an inline four-cylinder, a 2.2 liter, making 75 horsepower, but there was an optional V6 that they would take from a Buick that was 3.7 liters, and that made 155 horsepower. So not a lot of power by today's standards, but it was competitive with the things it was competing against at the time, and that was the International Scout, the Land Cruiser, and the Bronco. Alright, so and then about 57,000 of these were made between 1966 and 1971. Alright, so those are all the stats now. So let's see, let's start with these wheels that they came up with. They look like well, they're black, so it's kind of hard to see, but I think they're just round holes, so they remind me of like centerline wheels. Almost like a billet alloy racing, but who knows? So many types of wheels out there. Okay. There's no air passing between the spokes, which is kind of weak, I think. It's really hard to see, right? The details out. And then you gotta look, a lot of gaps here with the tires. The tire's just not sitting on the rims very well, so I'm not sure if that's just the assembly at the factory or if like the mold itself is messed up. I think I helped it out there, but what about this side? Yeah, see the rear one as well, this one here. I heard it like crack as if the paint was sticking to it. Maybe they're putting these tires on when the wheels are still a little bit tacky from the paint process, which isn't really ideal, but I guess if they're rushing to get these out, stuff like that happens. Okay, but I do like the printing on the tires. What I can't tell is what they say. So let's take a look at this front one. What is that? Something Terrain TA, so it's almost like BF Goodrich or something? Yeah, alright, so that's a BF Goodrich. I just don't know what this word is. It's a line of tire, rugged terrain. Alright, so I guess after a lot of concentration you can figure out what it says. It's just not particularly clear. You know, I don't know if it's because the actual graphic is weird or smudged or what. It's hard to actually tell. Oh well, okay. At least it's nice to have something printed on there. So looking at the panel lines, they're pretty nice. They're relatively tight. You got some silver paint here in this gas cap, the door handle, the lock there, and then there's some sort of, the hood latch there. And then I would assume that's some sort of badge there. Maybe it's supposed to say Jeepster or something. Oh, it actually might be legible. I think that does say Jeepster Commando. So that's pretty impressive. I mean, that's under super high magnification. Look at my finger. Right? So that's some small printing. Wow, and I gotta get some lotion. Okay. Put the lotion in the basket. Okay, so we got these little windows here, and they're painted silver around the edges, so that's kind of cool. I'm gonna wait till this rubber band until later, because this is gonna fall off right now. So I'm sure there's details under there, we just can't see them. I mean, we got the painted on taillight, reverse light. This bumper has it's interesting, it's got the rivets here in the center and one on the side, but is there one missing here? Or it looks like it's on purpose to have only 3 dots, but would that make sense on a real truck? Very odd. This is perfectly smooth, so it's not like it looks like it was designed that way. Okay, well, anyways. So it's nice to see it a matching wheel here with the rest of it, so that's good. It's kind of weird though that there's no printing on the tire, because it looks like it's molded to be the same tire looking at the treads, right? So why wouldn't they just take an extra one from this and put it on here? That's a strange decision. This gas tank is pretty cool. I'm almost wondering if it can be removed. It clearly seems to be a separate piece that was painted. There's no way you could paint that as one piece of plastic so well, I don't think. Maybe they... No. I think there's some glue in there. See that little shininess? Anyways, it's pretty nice. Yeah, alright, so it's glued in. There's a lot of shininess there, like some sort of glue residue. Alright, looks good. It's a lot of work. It's a little clear piece of glass here, and it's has some clear windows for molded windows. It's not bad. Okay. So this side here, this side you can't see in the packaging. I don't see any problems. I don't see any gouges, casting. Uh-oh. And every time I say it, something. What is going on here? It looks like someone took a lighter to this piece of plastic. Is it on this side? Oh, it is on this side. Look at what's going on here. So that's really strange. It's rough. That's really odd. I don't know if it's a chemical reaction with something or what. If anyone can guess what that is, please leave a comment. I'm very curious. Alright. So going to the front there, we got the painted on lights. Well, gonna have to live with it, I guess. Yeah, they're painted everywhere, but I gotta say, they're painted quite nicely. They're all hitting the mark they're pretty centered with where they belong. They're not like totally off. This one, I suppose, is a little bit up this way, but I think it's acceptable. And there's some sort of interesting badge here. I'm not sure what that is. It's just a roundel of some sort. Okay. And then up here we got some hood hinges here. I don't know what this is. Maybe it pops up to let air in. And then we got some silver painted windshield wipers. So that's good. And the little black paint around the window molding is good too. So one thing I learned about this one, whereas the original Willys Jeep, the windshield and the CJ5s and 6s, the windshield will flip forward. But this one is permanently fixed, more like a car. This thing was developed to kind of be a little more upscale of a Jeep, like the interior had a lot more fabric and less steel showing, whereas like original Jeeps you could just hose it out. Okay, so let's try this hood thing here. Alright. Well, I guess while we're down here, 1968 Jeepster Commando 2019, I think that might read. Really small. I think it's 2019. So it looks like this raised kit is, separate pieces of plastic, and I'm okay with that. But it is press fit together, so modifying that or fixing any problems could be difficult unless you drilled it out. But there's only one rivet, so that's nice. It might be a tab or something back here. I think you can see it right there, that tab. Okay. Separate plastic bumpers, I didn't mention that. So that's a nice detail, it's not molded into the metal. Okay. Front, yeah, this bumper is part of this black plastic piece down here. Alright, so let's see here. So this thing is all... I'm trying to decide. I think it's all one clear piece of plastic, perhaps. Yeah, it is. You can see, the black, it's not 100%, opaque. You can see a little bit of the pick behind it, so it wasn't sprayed very much there. But on this side, yeah, see, it's not the best. But the top is definitely very opaque. They put a lot of paint there. So, I guess that's an interesting way to make it. There's less, there's no air gaps because it's one solid piece of clear plastic. And I guess for molded windows, they're relatively clear, so I'm okay with it. I don't know what happened here on the sides. It's a bit unsightly. But being black, if I really wanted to, I could just repaint this relatively easy, I think, if I masked off that area. Okay, anyways, let's look into this. And same thing with the windshield. It's one clear piece of plastic, and they must have painted the green and the black and the silver. Yeah, because these wipers, I think, are molded into that. Okay. So we have a black interior, clearly, rib details and stuff, a pretty realistic looking steering wheel. And then another interesting detail there. Yeah, the dashboard, right? You got enough detail. I'm pretty happy with that. Got some ribbing in the back bed there, so that's good. So all in all, yeah, it's pretty nice. Now another reason why I immediately picked this up at the store is looking at it. What do you think I'm gonna say if you watch my videos? There's no body panel gaps. There's no opening hoods or anything like that. So everything looks nice and consistent. From the most common view, which would be the front 3/4 view, all these panel lines look pretty good. So I think it's great. I think the only thing really holding this model back from being really good is the lack of the clear inserts, which I've seen in their other. I have a CJ5 from Greenlight, and that has clear headlights, plastic headlights. So I'm not sure why they. Well, I guess they budgeted this sort of stuff. But it's close. It's really close to being a premium product, I think. So nice, Greenlight. I think you're doing a better job these days. I'm glad to have this in my collection here. Alright, so yeah, all in all, I think if you're into the Jeepster, I think it's a pretty interesting model. In particular, I also like what Greenlight did, raising it. I might go back and buy like the regular ride height version with the surfboards, but I saw this one at the shop and it was in better quality than the other one, so I went with this. So anyways, I appreciate you guys watching, and there should be 2 other reviews coming up from the all-terrain series. Alright, I'll see you guys around.